and how to make it well function well. And then there is the maintenance. The maintenance is like kind of in any project of software development, there are changeovers which come with time. Maybe the client wanted the application to do a certain role, and in the process there arises another issue which needs to be added to the mobile application. That's where maintenance comes in. Or maybe there was something that needs to be changed, the logic of the mobile application that needs to be changed. That is where maintenance comes in. So we say that there is planning in the steps in mobile app development. There is the planning, there is the design, there is implementation. There are tools that are used professionally. We are not doing it just for the sake, we're doing it in the professional way. Because we are building this, the professionals who will be taking through the program, or the trainers, or the tutors in this program are people who are doing it really life. And as most of you are aware, we have still a mobile application functioning right now belonging to JAVI RFS called JAVI. That's a mobile application that has been designed and developed just there at JAVI. So you are coming in the right place, in the right ecosystem, with the right environment, and with the right professionals. So feel free to reach to our support team, and you are welcome in any way. Any question or any thing that you need clarification on the side of mobile app development, feel free to ask, and everything will be fine. Welcome to JAVI. It's a place that will grow your skills, develop future-proof skills that will make you navigate through the tech space well. Because wherever you are heading, it's a tough time where people will be factored out in terms of digital literacy. You need to remain relevant. You need to stay with the future-proof skills that will make you navigate well in the course of the tech space. And one of them is mobile app development. If you still could be interested on how websites are built, but just like I have explained on the mobile application, it's open for you as well. You'll be guided through, because we design all the kind of software which you may have ever heard of. Websites, mobile application, desktop applications, we design them all, we develop them all. Welcome to JAVI, and this is a place that will grow and come out to be the best version of yourself. Thank you. Up to you, Jay.
Thank you very much, thanks for that presentation. I hope you understand one thing. He has spoken a lot, and he has really given you a bit of an overview, a really extensive overview of the whole app development process, how the project usually undergoes, and stuff like that. And one thing I really want you to take away, that you should take away from there, is the process. As a scale, to change it up, do this, and you may think it's really something really simple. It's not, but it's a challenge worth undertaking. No mountains are there to be climbed. So this shouldn't really wear you down. It's a really exciting endeavor for you guys to undertake, and I really hope, given the link that he has dropped there about the apps and all that, I really hope you guys have questions. So if you have a question now, you can go ahead and raise your hand. If there is none, continue saving them up. I'm sure there will be questions that arise for the question sessions. But at this point, I'd like to hand it over to Brian, who will continue in the next session. Brian, over to you.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much, Jay. Everyone. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Brian Gitonga, the JAVI RSS. And tonight I will take 2 minutes through the benefits and need of the course with us. So I'm going to take very few minutes. And one of the courses are well designed to equip you with practical skills and technology that will help you both locally and globally. Again, once another benefit as a student, once you get a course with us, you register and you successfully complete and receive certificate Okay, you stand a chance to secure either an industrial attachment, which is compulsory when in campus, an internship, when a practical job is up, whenever an opportunity or a promotion is arrived, and this will enable you to strengthen more on into your career profile. So, mine is just encourage the students, may you take this opportunity to invest in your future by registering in the bootcamp courses. And I do believe the JAVI RSS training team is committed to take you throughout the learning journey. And I can assure you like that direct and say it won't go into waste, it won't be in vain. You'll be part of the testimonials come the year 2027. I think some of you have witnessed testimonials from the previous students who enrolled in the bootcamp courses. Bootcamp 2026 we still open and I look forward to having you on board. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Thank you so much.
Yeah, even as Jay comes back, I want to let people know that they can go to the chat and they can see more information being shared there. And they can ask even questions there. Please use the chat as we continue so that you don't miss anything. Back to you, Jay.
Thank you very much, Director. Also, thank you, Brian, for the presentation. As you said, career opportunities here are very vast. With the variety of courses that we are offering, can venture into as many branches as possible. And you may find that these courses that we are offering are actually cross-cutting, regardless of whatever profession you may choose to go in. We find they're still really relevant to whatever you're doing. In a certain aspect, you will be using them. So at this point, I want to open up the floor and bring the energy back into the room. So if anything you've heard tonight maybe made you pause and think this could actually work for me, we're not alone. And that's exactly why we're here. So at this point, I really want to open up the floor to you guys and really ask for you guys to have confidence and to just raise your hands, and we're going to take a few questions. Maybe there was something that you felt was omitted. In the presentation that maybe you wanted to hear it, or you wanted to hear it talked about. This is your platform. So I'm going to open up the floor, and for anyone who has a question, you are free to raise up your hand. And yeah, if there will be one, I will go ahead and maybe appoint someone who will take comments. But before we can do that, I'm still opening up the floor so that anyone who has any question or any comment, you are able to. So I've seen one in the chat. Mercy Olero, she wanted to hear about Python programming and data analysis. So for that one, I can have the director answer that for you. You should be able to give you a bit of a deep dive on what that would be about. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mercy, for your question. As you know, Python is one of the very, very, very strong programming languages that is being used now. Most of these AI models that you see are actually built using Python. Python can be used for programming, and it can also be used for data analysis. And the reason why you've heard people talking about Python and data analysis in a very big way is because many of these apps that you see, like for example, there is no app that can operate without data. Apps consume data, interpret it, and then produce feedback based on the data. They synthesize what you provide and do that. And for them to synthesize, what Python does is that it is written at the back of that app, it is integrated into the app, and it does the computations. So, and it's possible to integrate any kind of equation within any system using Python. So what we are going to cover for this one is we will not go into great depths because this is a bootcamp. We will not go into great depths. We just introduce you to Python so that you can start, using it. But if you want an in-depth, very in-depth training on Python, we do offer Python as a detailed course, which takes 3 weeks to almost a month, and we welcome you to take that one. But first, it is to welcome you to this one, where you get introduced to how really Python operates and how you can benefit from it. Thanks a lot for the question. I hope I have answered it satisfactorily. Back to you, Chief.
Thank you very much. Mercy, I really hope you felt your question has been answered appropriately as you've had. The details about thank you very much for your acknowledgement, Mercy. We're going to open up the floor to other questions. So from the rest of our participants, if you have any question, feel free to either unmute your mic or just raise your hand or any comment that you may have. Over to you, Director.
Yes, and I want to encourage anybody who is here who has a question to ask. There is no stupid question. There is no bad comment. You can ask anything. This is a safe space. Feel free to ask anything. I want to appreciate there's somebody called Monica Wanjiku who was the very first one to join after me. So, Monica, how did you find the session? If you can be able to speak. Monica Wanjiku. I'm giving you an honor to speak because you are there from the very beginning and you stayed on throughout. Monica Wanjiku. Monica Wanjiku. Okay, so she's probably, I don't know whether she's hearing us or she's having a problem with the mic. I'm looking here. Anybody with a question so that we may proceed? We've shared as much information as possible on the chats.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yes, Louise.
Thank you very much for the presentation by Jay and everyone else. The reason for me to joining the class is on this free session is because I heard on the adverts, not on the adverts, on the update of your WhatsApp, that people are learning about cybersecurity, they're learning about graphic design, they're learning about Python programming, introduction, and artificial intelligence. I have no idea. I don't know what this means, and I don't know what that means. And Francis, the director, is a friend, long-time friend.
Is this Louise from Sheffield?
Yes.
Oh,
I have no idea.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I have no idea what those things are, and I want to just familiarize myself with them. I'm in health. I'm not very young.
I know that. I know you very well.
But I'm interested. Thank you. But however, I'm worried about the timing of the class of the bootcamp.
Yes.
Do you do stuff online?
Yes. So let me answer you, Louise. And we really appreciate that you could join us all the way from Sheffield in the UK. We will be doing these classes from 9 a.m. East African time to around noon East African time, and it will be asynchronous. It will be available physically and also online. So you'll have the opportunity to interact with a live class. And now going to the details, let me put it this way. As you can see, the first introductory course is digital literacy. And the digital literacy that was there 10 years ago is not the same digital literacy that we have today. There is a lot of new terms that have come up. There's a lot of new language that has come up. For example, 10 years ago, we never used to talk about mobile apps. We never used to talk about Python in a heavy way. There was nothing like AI. So the first session is really to make to have an introductory lectures that talk about how does a computer function, how does a computer think these days, what is data when you are talking to a computer, what are the foundations, those basic things. When you have spreadsheets, what do you do with them? When you have this kind of data, what do you do with it? When you have images, how do you utilize them in a computer? When you know all those, that digital literacy, that is what we cover the first week. Even how to like use PowerPoint, Word, and so on and so forth. Then after that, we'll now progress higher to graphics design. Those wonderful graphics that you see people developing. Like if you want to make a poster that is really nice for announcing something, you know, like these posters you're seeing on the screen, how do you make that? So that is the second phase. The third phase, and I think that is why you might be very interested, this cybersecurity. I will repeat what I said in the previous webinar. When you think about cybersecurity, first think about security. Traditionally, and I know this one you can understand. When we talk about security, we are talking about a padlock, a key, a burglar-proof door, you know, a siren, very strong walls, a nice fence which is secure, a dog, if possible, another animal that can be there in the compound. All those things, and if for the ones that want to go to the highest, a firearm. All those things that we know that are secure. When it goes to digital space, where are they? What are they? Because the digital space is different. It's not something that you can touch. How do you put a padlock in the digital space? Of course, many of us know about passwords, but beyond passwords, what else? How do you protect your information? How do you protect other people's information? What is allowed? What is not allowed? You know, how do you, when you say breach, what does breach actually mean? And what levels of breach exist? And how do people breach? That is the cybersecurity that we are talking about. So that as you do your work, if you are developing an app, if you are doing emails, if you are doing coding, whatever it is you are doing using your computer, if you are going online on your computer, how safe are you? And how do you prevent yourself from being unsafe? And then from there, we advance now a little bit into mobile app development. And now everybody who has a phone has an app. If you truly, and I want to preempt here, when you really think about an app, we have the front end, which you are seeing. That's what we call the front end, what you are seeing when you open the app. At the back, there's a lot of processes that are going on. At the back there is also the internet, because apps operate with the internet. And at the very bottom of that is data. So you are feeding the app, data is being synthesized and giving you feedback. And you really need to understand that and be able to build simple apps so that if you now you choose to go into that journey, and we have a lot of people here who are highly skilled that can take you into that direction. And when you go down there, you can say, I am a full stack, which means you can work on back end and front end. There are people who like the front end, so they call themselves front end developers. There is the back end developers. So it's a wide space. When you go further down, Python programming introduces you to actual programming. Of course, even in mobile app development, there is an element of programming, but Python programming is a very, very strong and very reproducible language. And the way when you write it, it's like writing in English, but you're actually writing code and it is being interpreted. That's why it's a lovely language. And I've said before, it is actually used. It's actually used by people who are developing AI models. When you look at an AI model, if you have to inspect it at the back, you'll find a lot of Python code. So it's important for you to understand it so that you can use it in whatever you decide to use. And for now, it is being used heavily on data science. And that is the next big thing, because now with digital technology, a lot of digital data is being collected, and it is the currency now that people are using. So if you understand about Python, then you can make use of data to do very many things. And finally, artificial intelligence, pick the word intelligence first and think about it. Humans are intelligent animals. They can be able to see and interpret. They can be able to smell and interpret. They can be able to produce things by combining facts and producing things. Now, when we talk about artificial, it's man-made intelligence. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we have taught computers to behave like us. And you know, computers are made of pieces of metal and minerals and so on and so forth. But somehow, we've managed to teach them to start thinking like us. The difference is that it takes longer for you to process as a human, but computers take shorter. I want to give you an example of mathematical operations. If you tell a calculator, if I may use that one, 1 plus 1, it's probably going to take the same time you're going to take. You're going to say 2, and it's also going to say 2. If I ask you, Louise, for example, what is 89 plus 108? You start doing loading, you are saying, then you're going to get the answer. Maybe you might pick a pen. But the computer, the same speed with which it did 1 plus 1 is going to be able to do that complicated math. Even when you tell the computer, add 10 million and 89, blah, 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 a complicated figure with another complicated figure, it is you who will be slower to type. The moment you finish typing and you say equals, it actually produces the answer. At the same speed, it produces 1 plus 1. So we want to use that power. AI uses that power of the machine to develop intelligence, to develop memory, to develop computing power. Another good example is memory. If I ask you, where were you, Louise, for example, in 2022, on January 25th, like 2022, you may not recall. You can't recall, but you see machines, if you ask it, what was it doing on that day? It will produce immediately. So why don't we use that power of a computer to think like us? So AI teaches computers to think like you and utilize the speed and the power that machines have. So it is important to understand it so that we know if we were to build our own models, how do we build them for the computer to help us the way we want it to help us, and making sure that it is not making mistakes. But there is one thing foundational that people must understand. Computers will only learn what humans have already developed. They will learn that and make it better, because models that run in AI are developed by humans. Only that we'll be doing it much faster to be able to gather information from very many places, synthesize it. Like it has a brain that works way faster than a human brain. So that whole process that I have described is what we are hoping to transmit to young people and to all the other people who are interested in joining physical classes and online classes. I can see Monica who is asking, you will have both physical and online. And if it is necessary for the online people to give the request, then we have a sizable team of online learners who say, oh, it's better if we do it this time, we'll assess and do that. So we are happy, we are flexible, we have a large team here at JAVI, and we have the resources, and we are willing to do that. So depending on how far we can stretch ourselves, so that we don't have the whole day we are having one group here, another group here, another group there, another group there. If we can have maximum 3 sessions in a day of the same thing, I think we can handle that, but probably not more than 3 sessions of the same thing on one single day. I can see Brian Kembo is saying, I attended late, but wanted to ask, the fee written there is after you have joined or what? So the fee written there is the fee that you will pay for each. So if you want to start with information technology literacy, the fee is 4,000 shillings. And of course, you don't have to pay all of it at the entry. You can pay a deposit. Now, that one will be handled by Brian and the team. You can pay what you have, and then from there you move on. I did share the link to our location, pin location earlier, to the contact of who you can call. I even shared my own contact as the director, and I'm seeing my team here has also shared the link to our socials and so on and so forth. Asanteni sana. I really appreciate those questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you everyone for the questions. And I hope that they've been clarified as satisfactorily as possible. Not apologies for that. I'm not really sure if that's a word, but we'll use it for today. And I hope you've been given a little bit more insight, and that you've been actually been able to understand what the course is about. So thank you to all our speakers. Thank you for the information that you've been able to give us today. And again, thank you for the energy, for the questions that you've been able to ask. And even for those who have not been able to ask, kindly reach out to our WhatsApp or to any social media page that we have, and for sure you will have those questions answered. If you didn't get your question, don't worry, the contacts are there. You can reach us directly. So basically, what happens next? So if today sparked your interest, even a little, here's what you should do. Number one, register for the bootcamp. This bootcamp is designed for all of us. Majorly, we're looking at maybe people who just finished secondary, or people looking to join campus, or anyone looking to gain practical, future-ready digital skills. So it basically encompasses everyone. And once you have registered, you will, if you're not in the group, kindly reach out to one of our moderators who will be able to add you into the group. There you will find a link attached to the registration form, which I really hope you guys actually fill out. Once you've registered, you'll be able to receive full onboarding details, your course schedules, and guidance on how to choose the right track for you. Feel free to call us, feel free to reach us out at the office. I believe the location link has been tested, and you can you can come to the office. We'll have someone talk to you one-on-one to Skize. We listen to you, and then we're actually able to understand what suits best the needs that you have. So our team is also available to support parents or guardians or anyone who may want more information. So if you have someone who's maybe sponsoring you, or they may be having any queries, or maybe they're looking to do to support maybe their child, a friend, or whoever, our team is actually able to support that. So if there's any of them, just reach out to us. We'll be able to reach out to them and answer their queries. Again, I'll repeat the number. So for registration and inquiries, you can reach us via calls or WhatsApp, 0706 449 519. That's plus 254 706 449 519. You'll also see the director has pasted his number on the chat, so you'll be able to get to that. You can call him, he'll be able to answer inquiries. Our email is communications@javiresearch.co.ke, and through any of our official Java Research Support Services platforms, you'll be able to reach us. If you're unsure which course to pick, kindly talk to us. If you're worried about your starting level, talk to us. That's what mentorship is for. So I'll end with this. The future doesn't reward those who wait, it rewards those who prepare. You don't need to know everything today, you just need to take the right step. Again, I'll end it there. Thank you for giving us your time this evening, despite the huge game which is going on. Thank you for giving us your time, despite it being a Sunday. Thank you for listening to our speakers. Thank you to our speakers for the time that you've taken to actually take us through in depth these courses that we're offering here. And even thank you again for JAVI for organizing such a bootcamp. And we hope to work this next journey with many of you in the bootcamp. Thank you for joining us, and we really hope that you will register. have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you soon. That's all from me. Maybe I'll hand it over to the director if there's any other.
Yes, I don't really have much to add. It's to appreciate everyone who was able to join us this evening. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and may the best team win. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.